Welcome back to the channel. My name is Arun. I'm Solutions Architect MCT, working with Novin Tech, which is one of the best organization to work with. And today we are going to explore Microsoft Defender for vulnerability management. This is from the previous session. Let me minimize it. This is our session. So we are going to understand or describe rather MS Defender vulnerability management, which is also called DVM, Defender Vulnerability Management. So, what it is, first let's try to understand what it is. You can simply understand this, it is like a health system for your computers, servers, or applications, or rather, health check system. It will keep on checking the health of your systems. That's what the vulnerability management is in a nutshell from very high level. Now let's try to decode it the way we do the topics. What is vulnerability? Vulnerability is the simple thing, or you could say it's a weakness, right? That's what the vulnerability is. It's a weakness, right? Or the weak points. And what is the management means here? Management is fixing the weakness, or if you go the entire cycle, finding the weakness, prioritizing it. This is most important, and then remediate it. You could say that would be the complete management. Finding, prioritizing, remediate is the management of the weaknesses, right? So what is vulnerability? It is the weak point in your system or in your environment. And what is the management is prioritizing or managing to fix the weakness, you could say. How we are managing it? By finding it, prioritizing it, and remediating it. That's how we are managing it. Okay, so now you could simply say MS Defender Vulnerability Management is the health system for your health check system for your computers, servers, applications. And it is a management of the vulnerabilities. Vulnerabilities are the weak point in your system, and we are managing by finding it, prioritizing it, and remediating it. Now, let's try to find out weakness. Now, whose vulnerability does this MS vulnerability management finds, right? Whose weakness does it find? So let's try to check that. Well, it finds the weakness of your endpoints. Okay. It finds the weakness of your mobile devices, network devices, your applications. So all these things taken care by the vulnerability management. Weakness of your endpoint, mobile device, network device, applications. All these things are managed by, or vulnerability management finds the weakness of these things. Okay. We can say simply it finds weakness of endpoint, mobile device, network device, applications. Now, if you see what all are these, you'll find these are the devices, or these are the IAS thing, right? What are these? These are devices, or you could say workloads run, including devices as well. That's what it is. These are workloads running on devices. We could say running on devices. And now devices could be your servers, could be your laptop, or to simplify, this is the IAS thing. What does exactly it means? It's an IAS thing. Does it not help in past services? No, it does not. DVM does not scan Azure past services like Azure SQL App Server Storage. Indirectly, you could say yes. Vulnerabilities in VMs running inside your Azure subscriptions are covered. Past misconfigurations or risk flagged by the Microsoft Defender for Cloud. Okay. So you could say vulnerability management is specifically for the IAS thing. For the past setting, we have different kind of Defender. All right. So this is for, that's what it is. Now the question comes, we have understood what it is, right? Whom it is helping, how, what exactly it is finding, where. Okay, now the question is how exactly it does that. How exactly it does that? So, in order to find that, we must need to collect the data. From where we are collecting the data? We are collecting the data from these devices, right? Now, how we are collecting the data from these devices? There must be something which is sending data to the MS Defender portal, that is called agent. Now, this agent could be sensor that we have learned in the Microsoft Defender for endpoint. Endpoint installs the sensor, or it could be your DVM agent. Your DVM agent, if endpoint is not there, you are going with the standalone MS Defender. So ultimately, there is something which is installed if you need the premium services. Okay, so which is getting installed. It could be agentless, right? But if you need the advanced services, it must be agent based, and it will get installed on your devices, your servers, your laptop, and will send data. That data will be reflect in the Microsoft Defender, and that data will be matched, right? The data will be matched with whom? The data will be matched with the threat intelligence data that Microsoft has, right? Only then it could say this is bad information, this is right information, after combining it with the database of CVE database, or Microsoft Threat Intelligence, right? Or exploited in the wild signals, like all those things. The entire database that Microsoft has, this data will get compared with this, and all those misconfigurations will be highlighted. So that's how it exactly works, right? In a very high level, you have understood what is vulnerability management, or DBM, what exactly it is, on whom it is applicable, how exactly it works, right? The basic idea, we got it. But now question comes, don't we get vulnerability management with the Microsoft Defender endpoint or Microsoft Defender Cloud? So the answer is yes. By default, you'll get it. But those are the basic features which comes with Defender for endpoint or cloud. However, for all the features like blocking vulnerabilities, browser extension inventory, firmware assessment, all those premium advanced features, you should have either DVM add-on or a complete standalone DVM, all those things. So let me tell you what are the things which is required. I'll show you as well. So if we talk about this, we have Microsoft Defender endpoint, Microsoft Defender for cloud, or we have a standalone. If we have plan to, we can utilize most of the feature with M MDC plan to have all those features. But here we need to have an add-on to have all those features. Standalone has all the premium features. So we have these three SKUs for MS Defender for vulnerability management, and we can choose as per our requirement. Now we can also, I'll try to show you here. I was going through this. This is my Defender vulnerability management plans and capabilities. If you come here, Defender for endpoint plan to includes following core. Defender, this is your standalone solution, right? If you go standalone, or everything is covered. For here, you need to plan to covers these one. To have these one, we should have the add-on that I've mentioned. So all these features from here are the advanced features: software usage insight, security baseline, block vulnerabilities, browser extension that I was talking about, all those things, right? So this is what we have mentioned here already. Now let's try to understand how exactly this thing works. We have understood what it is, how exactly how it's working from a very high level, different SKUs and all. Now let's try to go a little deeper. How exactly it works? Let's try to decode this. So very first thing is it will discover. It will find all your devices, your software extensions, certificates. It will discover everything. And then it sees that, for example, 50 laptops are running with Chrome version 90. So it fetches all the inventory. Then it will assess the inventory. It will compare the data with with against the Microsoft Threat Intelligence to know if those versions are vulnerable, right? Then we have to prioritize. Remember, prioritize. Like there are thousands of vulnerabilities, so which one needs to be taken care first? So it will prioritize, which will tell you which issue are most dangerous and should be fixed first. Then it will recommend, and then it will help you remediate, and finally verify. So this is the entire chain of vulnerability management or DVM. Okay. Now let's try to understand the discover piece first. Okay. Discover. So how? We know there is an agent. So on endpoint servers, the defender for endpoint sensor built into Windows, or which collects the software inventory, or your DVM agent if it is not endpoint enabled. So ultimately they are agents, they are defender app, or which can feeds the telemetry. Ultimately it will discover or collect the data. That would be the right word to say. Collect. Data collection, we could say. Data data gets getting collected. What data is getting collected? That is important piece. Data is like your OS version, your patch level, your installed software, browser extension, hardware, digital certificate, like the entire inventory what is running inside the virtual machine or server or a device. That data will get collected and will be sent to the MS Defender portal, let's say. So what would happen with this database? The next step will come into the picture, which is assess. This data will get assessed. How this data will get assessed? With the help of a baseline, right? So DVM maps the collected data against your CVE database, correct? Your MS threat intelligence, right? It analyzes your system configuration against the security baselines, and it will let you know what needs to be done, right? So okay, now the prioritize. What is happening in the prioritize? Let's try to understand. Now DVM doesn't just jump a long list of issues. You need to fix it. It will help you prioritize. Is the vulnerability exploited? Like this, it will ask the simple questions like, is this actively exploiting or exploited, or is it easy to exploit, or it has a sensitive data, your device, where, or anything where the vulnerability is, or maybe the potential business impact. So there is a criteria with the help of which it will prioritize your vulnerability. Okay. So what is happening? Discover is collecting data. Data is getting scanned through this, and then prioritize will give us the prioritize which weakness we should hit first. Then we will get the recommendations. So what is recommendations? Recommendations in the defender portal under endpoints, we have vulnerability management, and we'll have recommendations. Same we have in Azure Defender, where we have all the recommendation. It is like update your app software to save version, apply patch, change configuration, remove or block a vulnerability app or NSE, all those things, all those recommendations. So it will give us the list of recommendations. Okay. and we which will help us to fix our vulnerabilities. And how we will fix under remediate. We will get the option to fix and also track. So security team creates a remediation task with the help of all those recommendation plus their own experience as per their environment. So SOC team will going to create a remediation tasks that sync with your with your team, or if you're using any automation tool, right? Tasks. Then it will use to block the vulnerability apps or track the real time status, all those things. It's like a implementation as per priority. What are we doing? We are remediating, we are implementing the remediation or the recommendation. We are implementing how? As per the priority. Now recommendation that we are implementing, it could be exactly as it is said, or plus something which is suggested by our experts or our team. Now once this is implemented, then how we would know that this vulnerability is fixed? Only we would know after verification. So how we are going to verify? Now DVM updates the exposure score as fixes are applied. So we have something called secure score or exposure score, which will help us if we could see whether the score is improved or better after implying those recommendation. Second, if these recommendations are coming again, like after the refreshment, after refreshing the entire thing, this will again match the data. And if the data is what, as per, because data will going to be refreshed because we have implemented certain task, so the new data would not have those vulnerabilities when once we match or scan it through this database, right? So that's how it's done. So it is like under discover, DVM sees 120 of your laptop still running the old version of Chrome. During assessment, it flags the CVE as critical or active exploitation. Under prioritize, it puts the update Chrome at the top list because it's very, everybody uses it, right? So it's a higher risk to exploit. Under recommendation, it might suggest update to latest version of Chrome. Under remediate, we need to create a task to update it. How we are updating it? Through SCCM, through Intune, or any other third-party tool that we're using, it doesn't matter. That's how we're going to update it. And finally, verify. Now the DEVM will show 100% patched or exposure score, which improves, right? That's how it's work. So this chain goes like this: discover, assess, then prioritize, recommendation, remediation, and risk. That's how this thing will be done. Now, in short, we can say DVM works as a cycle: discover, assess, prioritize, recommend, remediation, verify, and it keeps on going. It's not a one time thing. You understand that piece, right? Now, let's try to see why this thing matters so much, why we should go and use it. So, there are three important points that come into the mind. Why? If you see what this guy is doing, this is finding the weaknesses in your endpoint and whatever you're running on the endpoint. Now, you could think like, I could harden my system by myself. Why we need this? Because you don't have a single one in the enterprise or in an organization. DVM does, moreover, DVM doesn't just check your operating system, it continuously discovers all assets which is running on the system. We mentioned the workload running on your devices, your software, hardware, browser extensions, certificates, firmware, everything. Now it works with agents, Defender Sensor, or it could be agentless for servers in Azure through Defender for Cloud. Now, why exactly it matters? Because security team often don't know everything running in their environment. It could be thousands of servers or hundreds of endpoints or devices, and there are thousands of things which are running there. All right. So it's like your company uses, not everyone using Edge, but Chrome also, Mozilla also, certain other things also. Some employees installed risky browser extensions like free PDF converter. DVM inventory shows like 5 risky browser extension detected on 30 laptops. So because of that huge environment, you need that inventory, you need that scanning and assessment so that you can apply the fixes, right? So the very first thing you could say, it sees everything and eliminated the blind spots, right? So we could say what's risky. It sees everything because environment is big. It's not a one laptop or desktop. Right. Then this will also help you because there could be hundreds of the because as we said, it's a huge inventory. There could be many things that needs to be fixed. But vulnerability management will let you know what needs to be fixed first, right? Not all vulnerabilities are equal. DVM combines your threat intelligence, your breach likelihood, your business context, device risk level, your data, sensitive data. So it will let you know fix what matters the most first, right? And also help you how to fix it. Risk based prioritization, right? Now, the third thing is close the loop. Which loop we are closing? The remediate and the track automatically. What it means, DVM not just about finding problems, it helps fix them, shows you progress, and ultimately your secure score will increase, right? All those things that we talked about, if we see from this perspective, that's why it matters, because it helps us from all the perspective, because our environment is good enough. Even if you have not 1,000 but 10, 12 machines, but you don't, you have to track all the software application running on that, not just the operating system, right? So that's why this matters a lot, and this will help us. MS Defender vulnerability management. So what did we learn in this video? We have learned what it is. It is a health check system. What it is? It is a health check system for our environment, for our systems. Now, what is system here? System is the workloads running on the devices and servers, IaaS. It is not for the past, for the virtual machines on, doesn't matter on-prem or any other cloud. And if we go deeper to understand this word vulnerability and management, vulnerability is the weakness in your environment, in your workload, in your operating system. And management is how you're managing that weakness, means you're prioritizing a weakness to fix it, to remediate it, right? Then we learned how exactly it is working. So we get to know there is an agent, your endpoint sensor agent, your DVM agent, which is collecting all the data, and that data is getting through the CVE database or MS threat intelligence to find out the vulnerabilities, the weaknesses. And here we saw the entire chain that this vulnerability management does. What it does, it discovers the entire inventory, all the data which is getting through SVE database, MS threat intelligence, or security baselines, so that it could highlight all those weaknesses. And weaknesses would get prioritization through the various means, like which is most uh, needed to fix first, and then all the recommendations, and then you need to plan as per your recommendation, as per your own tools, as per your own automation task, and finally verify after it's done. So this is what the vulnerability management is from very high level, because we are describing it is SC900 fundamentals. So I hope it was informative and you guys enjoyed it.